Attracting profit. If you are a female founder or business owner, this is for you. I am only opening my calendar in the month of September for one-on-one coaching. It's called Attracting Profit Intensives. You and I are going to be hanging out and showing you how to scale, whether it's personally or professionally, so you can attract more clients, more of what you want, more time, more energy, reverse engineer, both personally and professionally. So you're going to get me in your back pocket. We're going to pull back the curtains. I'm going to share my resources with you. I'm going to save you so much fucking time and money, and we're going to focus on where you want to go and clear those blocks. So attracting profit, one-on-one coaching. If you're interested, head on over to Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/work with me. HeatherChauvin.com/work with me. This is your time to make magical shit happen very quickly. Attracting profit. Go fill out the application and we'll be in touch. How many times have you packed for a trip or a vacation only to jam a whole bunch of shit in your luggage or backpack, and then having this like mild anxiety that you are forgetting something? Or, what if I don't pack for the appropriate weather? How many of you, or how often have you walked into a room in your house and looked around and thought, there's so much shit in here. I want to move. I want to burn it all down. I just want to start over. And have you ever thought to yourself, how did all this stuff get here? How did these material items get here? And why do I hold such power with each individual item? Why do I tell myself a story that if I get rid of that, I'm going to need it someday? Or the memory that is held inside of each individual item. I know for me personally, and this is what brings me to today's episode, where I interview Ysabelle Allard. She's an entrepreneur, a home organizer, TV personality, and she's an adoption advocate and mom. And Ysabelle and I actually met, she's local to me, and we met on Instagram, like where I meet all the amazing humans that I come into contact with. I saw that she organized somebody else's home. It was like their basement or something like that. And I sent her a message because, I was practicing what I preach, and it was on my list of like, I just want to go through this declutter phase, which is interesting how when we are in transitional seasons in our lives, or seasons in general, we have this big desire and urge to declutter. And I reached out, connected. She's such a wonderful human, and you're going to hear her story, and I highly encourage you to go follow her. She left corporate about 20 years ago, she left the corporate world after 20 years of event planning to pursue her entrepreneurial dreams. And she started her business called Tidy My Stuff in 2018 to help people live their best life by organizing their spaces to work better for them while donating the discarded items to women's shelters. So Ysabelle's passion project is to encourage adoption in Canada. And she speaks frequently on this topic. And she also, like a little well-known fact, she says she booked her first celebrity client by sending a DM through Instagram, which I thought was so amazing. What I love about her is her grittiness, her willingness to just put herself out there, and her outside of the box thinking. And I talk a lot about thinking, right? So everything that I talk about on this podcast, a lot of it is emotionally based and a lot of it is mastering your mind. Why do I do that? Because that, of course, were the things that I struggled with in my childhood, my teen years, and my 20s. And even, well, I'm in my 30s. So even to the day, mastering your mind is such a powerful tool. And it's also something that we're not taught. So when Ysabelle came in, I knew that the physical manifestation of stuff was a direct correlation with my mind and my emotions, right? So I'm actually looking around my office right now. And if you're ever watching a video of me, what you see behind me appears to be clean and clear. What you cannot see is the little piles that start to get accumulated outside of the vision, which is very metaphorical for life, right? When we see people, we're like, but their life looks so good. Their life looks so good on the outside because people hide what they don't want you to see. We hide our shit in our basement. We hide our shit in our crawl spaces. We hide it behind closed doors, and it's out of sight, out of mind. When I'm in my office, I'm typically working. And then when I physically leave my office, it's out of sight, out of mind, right? So little piles start. And what I should do is start the habit of, like, when I'm about to leave my office space, put 5 or 10 minutes on a timer and then just tidy, right? Tidy for 10 minutes and then leave it. But I don't think about it. And this is the work. This is the work that we need to do as humans. And I talk about it all the time, like whether it's a morning routine, whether it's managing your energy, managing your time, it's in 5 and 10 minute increments. That sustainability in all areas of your life is really about doing the tiny shit consistently, because that is sustainable. Not this all or nothing. Not, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm just going to take a week off of work and I'm going to just organize my whole house. And then what happens? You organize your whole house and you're exhausted by the end of the week and you don't have systems and habits in place. So what do? It just gets messy again, right? And so it's these tiny, tiny, tiny moments in your life that really make an impact of you becoming the type of person that is in this lifestyle of decluttering. And I don't just mean decluttering your physical space. I mean decluttering your mind, decluttering your emotions. And if you choose not to become this type of person because you're so incredibly overwhelmed and you're just like, I can't, and you continuously avoid, your life will show you where you need to focus your energy and attention, and it's just going to explode on you. And I've learned that lesson over and over and over again, that it's tiny habits. It's tiny habits that are going to get you to a place of ease and alignment and abundance and freedom and becoming the person that you most desire to be. And then one day you're going to open your eyes and be like, I fucking did it. I don't remember the last time I yelled. I reached my goal. I'm living the life that I once thought was impossible. So understand that you can get to where you want to go if you are willing to grow. I did not mean to rhyme, but I did. So you are able to get to where you want to go if you're willing to grow. So let's dive in to today's episode with Ysabelle Allard. Check her out on Instagram at Tidy My Stuff, and let's dive in.
I'm finally in her home. This beautiful mother of 3 and grade school teacher has rescheduled a consultation appointment twice already after admitting that she's unbelievably embarrassed to show me her disorganized space. Having been a home organizer for many years and seen hundreds of homes, I know exactly what she's feeling and have reassured her that we're all in the same boat and being disorganized is normal. There is zero shame, and she should be proud of herself for asking for help. As soon as I take off my boots and coat, she's visually very uncomfortable. I tell her she has a lovely home, which is true, look around her tidy main floor and ask her jokingly, why am I here? She states that most of her house is relatively organized, except for the basement and laundry room, which she has lost all control. She describes it like there's some horrific monster down there. This is all too common, including in my own house. We keep the parts of the house that people can see beautiful, much like we do with our hair and makeup when we go out, but then we hide the mess in areas people do not see, a lot like our emotional baggage. She stands at the entrance of the basement, beet red, not wanting to let me pass. You can tell she's fighting with herself. Does she let me see the mess and risk being judged, or tell me she's changed her mind altogether and make me go away? I ask her if we could just sit in her kitchen for a few minutes, so hopefully I can make her feel more at ease. We talk about her teaching job, how much she loves her class. We chat about her 3 kids, and she lights up, telling me how well they're all doing. She calms down instantly, and so I go into my usual home organizer speech. This is what I tell her. Raising kids is the most difficult job in the world. You are actually making sure these little human beings become good adults. She has amazing kids, obviously, and is succeeding. Being a teacher, to me, is the second most difficult job in the world. Teaching multiple human beings that belong to other people, she's excellent at it. We all have a superpower. Hers is raising and teaching kids. If I had to teach a class of small kids, I think I would faint. My superpower is showing people how to set up an organization system that works for them and teaching them how to maintain it. So I ask her, if I came to you today and asked you for help to figure out my daughter's homework, should I be embarrassed? Should I feel like different to any other mother? Without hesitation, she says, no way. Exactly. Everybody needs help, and we should all be there for each other. No judgment. Also, being disorganized is a problem everyone has, including me. Bottom line is that we are all super busy women, kids or no kids. And when something makes us uncomfortable, we should always reach out for help. There's a woman out there that has a superpower to help us all. With this, she easily lets me into her basement. She's actually even laughing, which makes me so happy. We go through her space. I ask many questions, including what would make life easier for her, to ensure we come up with a system that's just right for her family. I tell her there are literally thousands of ways to organize a space, but not all work with everyone. It's really important to remember this, especially when we're looking at these home organization shows and Pinterest photos. Everything looks perfect. That is not reality. She seems comfortable now and says she's actually excited to work together on this. So on the day of the project, she's embarrassed, scared, and excited all at once. I love it. Our team, made up of all women and mostly moms, make her feel right at ease. We all get to work, and she's shocked by how quickly we're getting things done. While the team is organizing our home, we're also teaching her how to organize. We have a very simple method that we feel once thought anyone can do. She agrees and tells us she feels encouraged to do other areas in her home herself, and that if she needs help, she will reach out. Success. I also remind her that it is not supposed to be perfect. We should all be busy enjoying life with our loved ones, not organizing. So if it gets a bit messy, it's okay just to be gentle on herself. 1 month later, I get a text from our favorite mom. She says that not only is she maintaining the areas we organize, but she's not beating herself up when it gets out of whack. She's even teaching organizational skills to her young kids in class. The best part, she sends photos of the space in her home she decided to try on her own. She's beaming with confidence when she says it isn't perfect, but it's good enough. The woman who was so horrified just a few weeks before is gone. She's faced her emotional discomfort, has come out stronger on the other side.
Love it. I feel like I could see myself in that story, inviting you into my home and facing all of my shit. The joys. Have you walked into somebody's house that has not made those comments around like, oh, it's messy or blah, blah, blah?
No, never. Not once.
Do you do that when people walk into your house?
Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I'm the person that will clean before anybody comes over.
Before somebody comes to clean your house?
Yeah, before somebody comes to clean my house. I actually clean before she comes over. Why do we do that?
Why do we do that? I think it's about vulnerability, our emotional states. It's been interesting to have mixed feelings from people. Like, I know I had resistance from my husband having you come into the home to organize, probably because it's his space too, right? But also the judgment from other people, like you're getting help for that. That's a big thing too.
Yes. And everybody faces that. And it's like, well, why do why does that bother you? I usually say that's triggering somebody's somewhere, why do we have cleaning help? Yeah. Why do we have people cutting the grass? Like we could go down that line and we need help to do everything.
I know. What have you found? Like, how did you get started organizing? I know there's like an origin story here.
Yeah, I actually had a friend who tragically, both his parents died suddenly. And they left behind this big old house, but they were hoarders and the house was full and he just didn't know where to start. And as his friend, we did bit by bit by bit. I've never seen a house like that before. And it felt so good teaching him how to do it, like obviously helping him, but teaching him, that it just like ignited something in me. I really love the teaching part. Because
what is it? Is it like empowering somebody to like take control of something that they felt hopeless over previously?
Exactly. And just taking these little tiny steps and taking it a little bit at a time and then building that confidence it takes. Mm-hmm. And then feeling so good, not only because you did it, but then teaching people that there's other people in need that need the stuff that you don't need. So it's kind of like a double whammy. And the best part, it's free. Like it's absolutely free. You can instantly feel better all the way around without spending a penny.
So I know that we could go down two lanes. We could go down like the practical lane around like, how do you organize your house? But I'm all about being emotionally uncomfortable.
I agree.
So I like to know the why behind it. And sometimes I like to know the why, but usually I'm just like, sometimes I just bypass the why. I'm like, just take action. I find it fascinating how we hold on to stuff and we have so much meaning. Like what you can't see behind me, even though you did help organize my office, is like, there's a little pile here. I'm a piler, right? Mm-hmm. And then I say to myself, oh, I have to tidy up my office. I'll do that later. Because when I'm in here, I'm working and then I'm not in this room again. So then the stuff piles. But it would take me 10 minutes. So if it's out of sight, out of mind, I'm not going to come in here and be like, whatever. But I can instantly tell the energetic impact of stuff.
Absolutely.
So why do we resist tidying? Why do we resist cleaning? Why do we resist decluttering? And I'm just curious from your observation of spending time with people, what you notice, what they're actually holding on to.
I think the number one thing is people think it's going to take a lot longer than it does. You just said it yourself, that little pile will take 10 minutes. People see a garage or a basement and they think this is going to take me a week. It never does. I always tell people a dedicated 1 hour is crazy what you can do. So I think that's the first thing, is that it's just that they don't realize that. Even me, you always have to remind yourself of that. I'll see my laundry room, it's a disaster, and I'll be like, oh, just close the door because I think it's going to take a long time. But meanwhile, if I go in there for half an hour, it clear it all up. So I think that's the first instinct. The second one, I think, is that we don't want to let go of anything. There's a few reasons for that. Some people, it goes back to their childhood. They didn't have a lot of stuff. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say hoarding because that's a whole other ballgame, but they don't want to let go of anything. COVID has triggered that a bit. It's like, will we know if all the stores are going to shut down again? So you can no longer say like, oh, I'm just going to run to the store and get it if I need it, And the third thing is what will I find, especially when we get into the storage areas where there's the emotional photos and things like that. So our team, we help a lot of people that their family has passed. Mm-hmm. And so there's a fear there. Like when I open that bin, what emotion will it bring up, So I think those are the main reasons.
I remember you saying something to me. We were talking about our parents in general. So the older generation, of how they love to collect. I mean, I'm sure there's generational traumas too. And we watch how, the pendulum swings, but you said something about like your kids don't want your shit. Like your kids don't want your stuff. And what a burden, right? What a burden. I think of not so much my parents, but just other people where they're like, oh my gosh, when they die, like that's going to be the worst. And not from like, what are we going to find, but the time and the energy intensity. But yet the parent believes that they're keeping all of these things for their children, which is very interesting because I see that, parallel in my work of like why we are afraid to become a different version of ourselves, and yet realizing that the burden that we're placing on our children by not doing that work.
I agree. I totally agree.
Have you had experiences like that?
Yeah, I'd say 50% of the jobs we do are people who have passed. So they bring, we're opening up these storage lockers and it's like, oh my God. It's not only the physical responsibility the children take on, it's the hardest for them I see is the emotional, like did this mean something? Did this not? You open a big box of jewelry, which one meant something to her and which one didn't? And they struggle with it. And then they don't want to get rid of anything. Yeah. So now for the rest of their life, they're going to keep this stuff and pass it on to their children. So now the grandkids have it. Instead, if all of us would just do a little bit of work and just create one box, two, of all these special items, and why not hand it over while you're still alive? What a concept. And say like everything in here means something. And how fun would it be to just like open it up and go through all the stories? Oh, this is the first time you walked, you were wearing this. And so now that person has this box and everything is meaningful to them and they're not burdened physically, emotionally, none of it. So, but it's just like anything else. We're scared of talking about death or feeling death. So
I find that fascinating. I'm thinking about stories and meaning. So I always talk about, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? And go back to a concept that I learned from Danielle Laporte, that it's not the thing you want, it's the feeling.
Yeah.
And I know for me, right, a lot of people want to move, fresh start, blank slate. It's like, what's the feeling that you're after? I'm after lightness. And I've had a lot of friends do this too, where they will stage their home to sell. And then once they stage it and declutter, they're like, I don't want to leave. And I was like, it was the feeling that you were after. So why deny yourself the feeling now? Yes, you can still leave, you can move, you can do all the things, but what do you think the feeling is? And for me, decluttering, I don't know, I felt like I need to declutter way more. I was like, what? There's like layers to it, right? It has nothing to do with the stuff. It's like letting go. And yeah, we're always after a feeling like lightness, space, freedom, ease. And the contrast, if you want to get to the lightness, you gotta fully feel the contrast of the heaviness that you're carrying.
You do. And a lot of it, everybody has this idea of who they should be or shouldn't be. So if we're decluttering a closet, you're always going to get, well, that's my clothes when I'm going to lose weight, or that's my clothes when I'm going to be muscular for men, so, or you go in the basement, oh, I'm going to be a crafter, like somebody who does crafts when I'm retired. So they're keeping this big thing, but they don't really like to do crafts. So everybody's got these different notions of who they should be, and kind of letting that go just eliminates all those stories, all of that. And you're just free to be you. So
you today, not the perceived version of you.
And stop beating yourself up about it. It's okay. Like, you are beautiful today, and you should only have clothes that make you feel beautiful today. Never mind. If your body changes later, you'll go get clothes later, Yeah. So it's reinforcing that.
The time has come. I have been waiting over 1.5 years for this. I am finally hosting a book launch party. If you have been a part of this community, maybe you have purchased the book, Dying to Be a Good Mother, I would love to meet you in person. Tickets are limited. I want you to head on over to Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/book party. HeatherChauvin.com/book party. Go grab your ticket today. It is September 15th in person in my hometown, Windsor, Ontario. Well, it's actually in Kingsville, but it's where I'm from and where I live. So let's meet in person. Go purchase your ticket now. HeatherChauvin.com/book party. I look forward to seeing you there. Let's celebrate together. It's actually been fascinating to watch and observe like my own behavior, and I'm curious how you are, but okay, you declutter, and then the desire, not the desire, but it's almost like the discomfort of wanting to fill the white space.
So true.
And then going, oh, no big deal. It's just like one item of clothing, or it's just one more pair of shoes, or it's just whatever. And it's like, okay, but it's like tit for tat, right? Like you put a new pair of shoes there, you gotta take a pair of shoes out. Or how are you gonna create the space for that? Mine is books. Like, you want another book? You gotta get rid of some books. Like, I can justify all the books, but it's really about being aware of what is the desire behind it. Are you trying to fill a void? Are you bored? What's going on? And the money that people are spending.
Everybody says, well, that costs this much. Okay, well, how much is the space in your head and physically costing you? You know, this happens a lot in closets. Well, those are Prada shoes. It costs $1,000. Okay, but you can't wear them. They don't fit you. You know, like, you need to let go of that. Instead of every day, you're going to see those Prada shoes and go, I can't believe I spent $1,000 on that, and beat yourself up. Instead, like, eliminate, go bring it to a woman who's about to go on her first interview and has no money for clothes, and you're going to make her feel like $1 million by donating those shoes to that organization. So we kind of talk to people like this. But I mean, I'm a victim of it. There's things I hold on to. Like, we're all in the same boat, I guess, is what I'm saying.
What have you found? So I know I would call you like an avid traveler. You've moved a lot in your life. What have you noticed about the essence of your life and what you tend to like bring with you from home to home?
It's funny you should say that, because my daughter and I moved from the Caribbean just a few years ago. We moved with 2 suitcases, and that included everything we own. Like, she was young, her toys, memorabilia. What I've learned is stuff doesn't matter. I was just so glad I was able to move quickly. You know, I needed to get to Canada quickly, and it just like pack up. And what was the most important was my daughter. And that's it. And we were in a condo for like 6 months with nothing but a mattress on the floor. And I don't think I've ever seen her that happy. The fact that she was able to jump on the mattress and like wasn't worried about breaking anything because there was nothing, and she was running around and playing freely with, you know, some toys. It was really cool. Mm-hmm. So I guess to answer your question, it's like things don't matter. It's people and experiences. Like, to be able to move around with your daughter or a significant other or by yourself, and not have to be like, oh, all my stuff, and that's holding you back from that experience. Mm-hmm. Come on, you know?
Yeah, I actually find I've been thinking about this a lot lately. So we have a trailer, so we drive up to our trailer, and I love luxury. I love feeling good. I love being pampered, but I also could just grab a toothbrush and some underwear and a bathing suit and just go off the grid. I can only handle it for so long because it's really disgusting. But I've noticed, you know, I'm like, okay, where am I going? What do I need? Pair of shorts, bathing suit, toothbrush, some new undies. That's about it. And I grab those things. I grab a backpack, and I'm like, I'm missing something. I'm going to forget something. When you have access, you can go buy things. You're going to be okay. And then there's this like whole wellness world and the beauty world where, you know, people, first thing, you go to the doctor, you go to a naturopath or whatever, they're like, what supplements are you taking? This is my beef. What supplements are you taking? And I traveled with people who literally have a whole suitcase of fucking supplements. And I'm like, I could be that person if I needed to. I do not want my health or wellness routine to hold me back I do not want to have to pay and deal with the shit show of the airlines because of my fucking protein and my freaking supplements and my workout routine. Like, how fucked up is that?
That happened a lot this summer because people were traveling and lost luggage everywhere. So I actually had friends and clients call me and be like, we know you do carry on only. I don't check luggage. Everywhere we go, we do carry on. Yeah. And so they're like, how do you do it? Like, and I said, well, they can't just do carry on. They have to check luggage, but they know they're going to lose it. This was fascinating to me. You're going to put your luggage, you know, you're going to lose it, but whatever. So I tell them in your backpack, just do what you said, the bikini, the shorts, your specific things. They travel, lost luggage. And the amazing thing is they learned to live with what was in their backpack. And actually for a lot of them, it was so freeing, and they're never going to check luggage again. Because you don't need stuff. You're in Paris, you're in London, wherever you are, you just want to get out and experience stuff. You don't care about the supplements and the special cream on your face and the hair and all of that. You want to get out and do it. So I don't know. I think people need to go through something like that to really understand the essence of it.
I was at an event in the Bahamas, and I think I just had a backpack with me. I remember my eyelashes. So I have eyelash extensions. I had like 30% of them left. So they were like all over the place. I barely brought any makeup with me because I always bring makeup when I travel and I never wear it. I might put on like a little blush or something, a hat, whatever. And I remember feeling like I wasn't dressed well for these people. And everyone said to me, I am so, what is the word? Like inspired by how light you traveled, and not in a conniving way. Like they really meant it. And they were like, I wish I could do that. And you've inspired me to do that next time. But it was like, I just had a few pairs of clothes. Like you can wear something that looks decent and just throw something over top of it. And I did that for a few key items. And you ask people for things if you need them to, or you can buy it. But I was judging myself in comparison to how they showed up, and they were inspired by me because I was wearing less. And the only reason why they brought more was because of the anxiety that they had around being around new people.
Yes.
And so it's interesting how the way you show up, you're judging yourself and you think you're going to be judged, and yet people are inspired by your action.
Correct. Absolutely. I agree.
So what do you have? What is like your go-to advice for people that are incredibly overwhelmed? They know they need to declutter. I actually see this happen a lot in my work because they start doing the inner work, and then this desire to declutter is very big. They're like, I just want to light my house on fire and start over again. So where do people get started? I mean, you gave a few tips, but I'm just curious.
It's going to sound so simple, but it is simple. I always tell people to start small. Start with like your kitchen drawer, start with a shelf in the garage, start in an unemotional place, and just do that space. And that's it. And you grab a garbage bag, you throw out, what's not good. You grab a reusable bag, donations go in there. And once you've done that drawer, you stop. You put everything away. Donation bag goes in the car, the garbage goes away. And the reason why I say that is because people don't realize that the cleanup after is usually longer than the actual organization. And that's where people go wrong. They just like, I'm going to attack the garage today. It's like, I can't attack a garage in one day. Like it just doesn't work like that. So just to start very small, and you'll see your confidence builds, and then you kind of get inspired and you want to do other spaces, but just make sure you check in with yourself and like, okay, do I have time and energy to now do that second space? So the mistake most people make is they start somewhere and then they whoa, next thing you know, they're on the other side of the house, but they've left an explosion behind them. And then now there's no energy to kind of do the cleanup.
I feel called out. Brian says, oh, here she goes. here she goes. I know I'm going to be cleaning up later. And I will tell you why exactly I do it. Because the rage clean or the rage declutter.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a coping strategy and it feels good at the time. But I will, throughout the day or throughout the week, I will say, I'll do that later. I'll do that later. So I'm human too. I tell people that all the time. And you admitted to it too. You're like, I'm human too. That for me, my trigger is one, pre-planning. I always tell people, yeah, maybe you don't want to pre-plan, but if you have allocated, say Friday morning or Saturday morning for half hour, an hour, and you have it on the physical calendar, and then someone texts you and say, do you want to go for a run in the morning? And you're like, actually, I have this. We can do that after. One, you're creating space, you're honoring that space. So you're not thinking about it all week. I need to do that. I need to do that. So you're allocating time and space. And then if it becomes a habit, it's just a season in your life, right? You're like, I need to become the type of person that doesn't just avoid and neglect, and just the 10 minutes. So I think I'm going to integrate. I'm not going to say I'm going to all or nothing, because it's not about all or nothing. Like, I'll do it later. And then I need to like do it all in one day. It's 10 minutes here, 30 minutes here. Do you remember, oh God, what was her name? This clown on television. Do you know what I'm talking about? I think it's a Canadian thing. She would have like the cleanup time. Clean up. Anyways, I don't even know her name.
I'm French, so I was like, grew up on French TV.
I feel like it could almost be French. It was like close to French television, but she dressed like a clown. I forget her name. Someone's going to like message me now and tell me. And it would be like, it's cleanup time. So at the end of the show, after they play, they would have like 5 minutes of cleanup. So kids in general would start cleaning up the house. And so I feel like I'm going to make my kids do that too. It's like, everybody get up. It's time.
Actually, it's the second thing that we teach when we teach. It's like, don't make it simple and teach your kids how to clean up, like get help, and don't make it complicated. If people think they need this elaborate system with the labels and everything. If you're in a garage and you got a lot of basketballs and hockey equipment, get a bin, a very inexpensive one. Forget the lid. Nobody needs that lid. And tell them all the balls go in this one. And it's cleanup time. Use them like drawers. Like, make it so simple. It's dumb. And yeah, it's not going to be the prettiest thing, but it's cleanup time. Everybody's got to clean up before we go to the next one. And now we're teaching our little human beings to kind of be organized. Yeah. And when they go off to their apartment, it's unbelievable how that can help.
100%. I always freak out when I say your name. It's not Ysabelle.
It is Ysabelle.
But don't you say with an accent. Say your name with an accent.
Oh, in French, Ysabelle.
There you go.
Yeah, but nobody says that.
I just have a French last name.
Chauvin.
My children speak French. I do not speak French. But there's an A at the end, correct?
No, Ysabelle. A lot of people say Isabella, which I answer to.
Nope, no A. Okay, so Ysabelle.
Ooh, oui.
Where can people find you? What do you got going on? All the things.
Well, right now I'm doing a lot of virtual sessions, because it's a lot like, I think what you do is that people can do it on their own. They need a little bit of help, coaching, but accountability. That seems to be a major thing. So we do these virtual sessions where I look at the space, we kind of talk about what needs to be done. And then after the session, I send like a quick list of to-dos and a little chart sometimes with like, okay, that should go here, that should go there. And then we meet up again a month later. So it kind of like gives them that deadline that they need. Yeah. So we're doing a lot of that, and that can be booked at tidymystuff.ca under the contact form. The team is still doing the physical work too. We go into people's houses and organize, but now we found our clients that we've done their space, they now need that accountability to keep it up. So we started virtual sessions for them like 3 months after, to make sure they're keeping up their system. But any of those services can be booked at tidymystuff.ca. And then we're on Instagram. If you want a bit of motivation, before and after videos and photos, I'm at tidymystuff. And that's about it.
Thank you. This has been a lovely conversation, and I really encourage people to go find you, follow you. And, the common theme that I hear through everything is, regardless if you identify as an organized person at all, when we develop these habits and we're consistent with these things, especially in the core foundation of life, like you can't avoid not cleaning up. I don't care how much money you have and you can hire somebody. You as a person need those skills. And when you develop the core skills, you get emotionally uncomfortable, but you also find the joy and freedom and ease in everything.
Yes.
So
yes.
Thank you for being here.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Are you ready to take back control of your time and energy? But the thought of where to start feels overwhelming. I created something for you. It's called the Energy Finder Quiz. Yep. This quiz takes less than 2 minutes and it helps you identify where to focus so you can conquer your dreams without feeling like you're failing as a mother. After coaching hundreds of women, helping them reverse engineer how they want to feel in their personal and professional lives, I started to notice 4 hidden skills that women must master in order to create the work-life balance that they crave. So head on over to Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/life quiz. heatherchauvin.com/life, LIFE quiz, QUIZ, and get started. I even give you specific podcast episodes to listen to based on your Energy Finder quiz results. The goal is to show you where to focus so you can regain your time and energy and become the woman you deeply know you are capable of becoming. heatherchauvin.com/life quiz.